Hello and welcome to the week 3 summary of my HEMA Club's Myers Square Cutting Challenge. So as you could briefly see, day 15 was a rest day, and it feels a little odd to start off the video there, but that's how it is. Day 16 was 10 sets of Myers Square, and the first and third were to long point, the first and third cuts. Now, I was whacking the tree quite a bit, and it seemed like my footwork was getting messed up. And at the time, I was like, okay, how do I fix this? Do I just keep practicing or anything like that? And that is the general feedback, is just keep practicing and the footwork would come. The nice thing about Meyer is it seems like footwork isn't quite as important as it is with other masters or other, historical figures. So recently had a little bit of a dabble into Fiore or some of Fiore's styles, and it seems like footwork is a lot more important there. So at least that is one advantage of focusing on Meyer, that is. And looking here, it does seem like I may have accidentally thrown in a short edge, at least earlier, but been trying to get the long points to be good. And I think I had gotten some feedback about my crossguard, so I'm going to try to look at that. I think something about rotating the crossguard to be vertical, which I'm not always good at. And yeah, as you can see, I'm speeding up here. I think I'm going to try to speed up through most of the days because I don't know too many people who want to watch me do 10 plus sets of Myers Square at the pace that I'm doing, because it is pretty slow, I will say. In some ways that's good because I want to focus on getting everything right, but trying to play around with different techniques, trying to see what works on this channel, what doesn't, what video editing techniques I should incorporate, that sort of thing. So looks like I'm either getting to number 10 or close to it. There were a few days where I had lost count, and I don't quite remember which ones those are, but so far, so good there. And yeah, I think the first couple cuts would be fine, and then doing it the long point was a bit more difficult. But that brings us into day 17. So not only is it 11 sets, which as each set increases, my arms and shoulders get very sore, which again, it's a good thing, means I'm getting stronger, but it's still a little rough sometimes. But yeah, not only is it 11 sets, but the first cut is to long point and the second is to short edge. So that's already a little bit of a complication or a little wrinkle that gets thrown in. Not just physically, but also mentally, because I have to think, hold up, this is the first cut, I need to do long point. This is the second cut, I need to do short edge. Wait, I need to remember what short edge is, or false edge. Hold up, there's footwork that also needs to be done, and am I keeping my edge alignment good? So it's a lot. I think I also have DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness from the gym yesterday, so my arms were already pretty tired, so we're just going to speed up through that. Yeah, don't have too much to say about this apart from just keeping on with it. And I don't remember if it got any easier for me, because there are some that once I've done a few sets, then it becomes less awkward and I can get the hang of it. But at least I am seeing some improvement overall. When editing some of the other videos or looking at old footage, realizing that I can be very harsh on myself. And while it is good to acknowledge my lack of experience, limitations, I can't beat myself up too much, either physically or metaphorically. So it is good to know that at this point, about the halfway point of the challenge, and there's some things that I thought I would never be able to do or it'd be so impossible that now, by comparison, I'm a lot more easy. That cut didn't look so good. I don't know if I was trying to do long point and short edge at the same time, but it didn't seem to work very well. This one's 12 sets, just nothing fancy, no feints, no long points, no short edges, so I was focused on doing it really fast. And yeah, I just went one set, count it, and go right into the next one. And I keep trying to find the best place in the garden where I won't bump into too many things, and as you can see, I accidentally whacked some of the lights, I guess fairy lights in the back. So still searching at this point for a good spot. But yeah, I am letting this go on a little bit longer before speeding it up, because it is good to see how quickly I can get through Myers Square at this point. I mean, there's still bits that could use some work, so some of the cuts look really sharp and others not so much. I think one bit of feedback I got was that there's definitely a lot more power in these cuts and at least a little bit more consistent. So that is good. Like, I know I can be nitpicky, so it has been good to kind of share it with a few people and see kind of my progress, both the things that I need to improve and the things that I'm actually doing really well in. I'm actually doing a little bit more long sword work this month, the club, which is really exciting. I've been dabbling with a few weapons, but I do come back to longsword at some point. I'm like that guy. I want to learn the longsword. Maybe I'll try to post it somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, but yeah, we're just gonna speed through because it's all fine to show how quickly I could do it unedited, but now let's just speed on through, because even still, it's 11 sets. Nope, 12 sets. Sorry, already lost track of what day it was. I mean, granted, I continually seem to forget what day it is. When I am filming this or recording this, we're into about a week or so into February. How is that possible? And now we're on day 19. And we've got 13 sets with the 4th to short edge. And I'm pretty sure that there were some where I just completely forgot to do the short edges. But then there were others where I think I threw an extra short edge in when I didn't necessarily need to. I don't remember if it's because of the way that I was holding the boffer that the short edge just happened to be that way, or if I just completely lost track of cuts or which cut I was supposed to do. I don't quite remember. Arms were a bit sore that day. I don't remember if it was due to all the HEMA drills or because I had gone to the gym, which had a lot of focus on arm exercises, probably both. But yeah, we will speed up through that because it can get a little tedious. Yep, now we're back to the regular pace. I'm starting to see a little bit more, I guess, power deliberation. I'm not quite sure what the right word is, but some of those last few cuts are looking a lot better than some of the others. Yeah, I think that's cut 12. So one more to do. I gotta say, it was quite challenging to kind of hold up with my hands which set I'm on while having the boffer. So as you could see, I have to balance the boffer on my arms and kind of go from there to showcase numbers I've done. I know I don't have to, but still important for me. And it's day 20, another rest day. And we're on to day 21, which is 13 sets again. No short edge, hooray. But the third and fourth cuts are to long point, which is... I think I've mentioned this before, but there are times where, yeah, you see how the boffer is kind of moving a bit, not quite steady. It's hard to know how much of that is my lack of a steady hand and how much of it is just the boffer being a little bulkier than a steel weapon. Something that is a little bit exciting is I think at this point I was actually starting to remember the order of the cuts on the Myers square from memory rather than just relying on the diagram. So the diagram of the left-handed Myers square, which I'll try to put up somewhere again, I have that taped to my tripod, and so that's usually what I look at to make sure I know which cut I'm going to or which direction I need to go. But this time, I've started to do that from memory, and I mean, we'll still speed through it, but that's really exciting. And we'll temporarily ignore the other bits that need work. At this point, I'll just focus on the things that were an improvement. I don't remember, though, if this is one where I tried to do it with my eyes closed, which I ordinarily do not recommend, but I was just so excited that I could actually remember the cuts. I was going to try out and say, hey, I can do this with my eyes closed. But it's in the garden. There's no one else there, so there's no chance of hurting anyone or anything. It's 12. So yeah, we're getting to the end. And overall, it's been good to review some of these, and I'm looking forward to putting together some of the last videos of this challenge. So again, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Give it a like, subscribe, all those things that people with YouTube channels say and even know. But I will see you later for some more Myers Square fun. Take care.